I find it hard to let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping, all 800 horses. calling to say I... Calling to say I...
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another broadcast here. This time we are here with some rFactor 2, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun here. I haven't done this game in a while. We are currently watching qualifying here at the Castle Combe circuit here. Now, a track that I'm not necessarily familiar with, so it's going to get interesting. How do things play out all the time? Because I have obviously got very little information on how this well, game actually works. So somehow, okay, there we go. Looks like we are now back to go. Yes, beautiful. Don't know what happened there, but well, we should be ready to go now, and it looks like we are all covered in. So we are going to be watching 10 minutes of qualifying, and then afterwards we will see 3 races, and those 3 races are all 20 minutes long here. This is a rather difficult circuit as well, so all these drivers, they're really going to be fighting for it. Obviously now everybody coming out on track. We do see the lap times coming in soon. It's sad that we have no live delta compared to Assetto, Corsa, Competizione, but so be it here. Obviously we are using the modern day BMW cars, the modern day on the Civics, Ford Focuses, you name it. These are all actual cars that race in the British Touring Car Championship, a championship that I was actually lucky enough to see myself in action at the circuit of Donington Park, and that was an awesome experience, to be honest here. Now, obviously lap times are just gonna come in. Now, I was told that this circuit is kind of hardcore. It's a small circuit, of course, so it will be quite difficult to try and overtake, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple incidents from time to time as well. Yellow flags are out early as well. No surprises there. I guess that just happens from time to time. Everybody just looking to do their thing right now. Obviously during qualifying it's kind of hard to keep track of live deltas, which is a shame because I'd love to have those, but unfortunately you just don't get them. And as you can see, Tom Bernil has gone sideways already, and luckily they're able to avoid each other, but Torchio takes evasive action and actually ends up hitting a rival driver, so that wasn't as intended, of course. A massive crash during qualifying, as the BMW of Brian Glees is lucky to keep going. Also the BMW of Colin Turkington, of course, you can see the delivery, and he's gone off now as well, so it's getting rather chaotic here in the beginning. But I must say, the British Touring Car Championship is a great addition to the rFactor 2 game. There is plenty that you have to consider when trying out this game. There is quite a few different drivers that all are going to do massive damage. And obviously all these cars differ in a way. Some are front wheel drive, some are rear wheel drive. And obviously we've also got some interesting cars here. For example, we've got the Cupra out there on track. A car that I believe is only driven by De Leon right now on track and his teammate in the current season of the British Touring Car Championship. It's mainly Ford, Honda and the BMW. Although we also have a couple Toyotas nowadays on track, which I don't think are in the game, or at least I haven't seen them yet. If they were there, I would love to drive me one of those, but I don't think they exist at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, really. Still, this is going to be rather awesome, I think. Some more drivers here on their out laps. Also, the Rich Energy livery is coming out. That's quite interesting. Obviously a well-known sponsor back then, but obviously they've had their controversies, right? For example, we've had the Formula 1 controversies, which obviously don't help with your name. Now, this is a small, short qualifying of 5 more minutes. It's 10 minutes in total before we are getting into the race. And when we get into the race, it's looking as follows. So first of all, first race, the grid's decided by qualifying positions. Who would have guessed? Then we have a 20-minute race, as always. Then we've got race 2, which is going to be finishing positions of race 1. And then race 3 is going to be the reverse grid of race 2. At a random point draw between 6 and 15, whatever that might mean. People probably know what things mean a little bit more than I do there. It's an interesting system for sure, but that's what Formula Racing League is obviously known for. But it is rather interesting to me. This is Antonia Dolcimascolo, one of the few drivers that has taken on the Vauxhall for tonight, also known as the Opel. It's the Vauxhall Astra, known in mainland Europe as the Opel Astra, of course. And he set a purple sector in the first one using Watson's car there. It's gonna be quite cool to see what he can do later on then. Well, yellow sector 2 might just ruin the entire thing for Chimascolo. He's going to cross the line and go third fast, and that is, regardless, still a great result. But it's currently this man who's in pole position, Benjamin Eck. Set a 1:04.204 during qualifying already. He is ready to go. Benjamin Eck is a quick driver, not only in the rFactor 2 championship. We've also seen him in a couple rFactor 2, we've seen him in rFactor 2 instead of Corsa Competizione. He's done all kinds of things, which I think is really cool. That he's just so versatile. Now, I would absolutely love to have an opportunity in one of these, but obviously I'm behind the mic, so therefore I'm not really able to do so. More and more times coming in here, but Benjamin Eck still unbeaten. It's Romy currently set in second, also a BMW, so makes me think that the BOP might be a little bit out of place, although it could just be a coincidence, of course. And Andrea Romy is actually taking it upon himself to create a new livery, which I think is absolutely stunning. Even has the name on it as well, so that's cool to see. People have come up with some pretty unique designs here, but as Pecoraro and Romy make their way up, it will be Antonio Dolcimascolo to also come down in the overall qualifying ranking. Now, he is still P4, so not to worry, that's going to be a great result. There's 18 drivers in the server in total. Currently 7 seconds apart between the fastest and the slowest driver. So it's fun to see as well, right? Every single drive here is somewhat competitive. And I know it's a short track, so that is going to be taken into account as well. Yeah, it's safe to say things are not easy for any of the drivers coming up this time round. Combe circuit, I was told, is a fast circuit, but also a hard circuit. So it's going to go and get quite intense later on, at least that's what I'm assuming. This is Dave Brewster in the Ford Focus, the Napa Autoports Ford Focus, which is actually an American brand, but they've come over to the UK, they've come over to mainland Europe as well to conquer the market there. They sell car parts, and I think they installed them too, although I could be mistaken on that. I think it's actually a well, I don't want to say it's a rival of the current title sponsor of the British Touring Car Championship, which is the company known as Quick Fit. Don't think that is the case, but regardless, it doesn't really matter. But it is still fun to see that all these drivers, well, they've gone out and they've been creative with deliveries, or they've taken some of the more stylish liveries all around as well, which is fun to see. Now, time is almost over during qualifying here, so the order currently is as follows. It's going to be Benjamin Eck first, followed by Romy, Federico Pecoraro, Antonio Dolcimascolo, and it's Kaograf, Antonio Nota, Axel Petit, Dave Goodway, Dario Raffetta, Matthew Williams, who's actually just come into the pits here, Gerard Piton, Ryan Gillies, Nate Himmelsbach, Tom Bernil, Rico Masafra, Giuseppe Torchio, Dave Brewster again, and then Will Brunner at the top. So, oh wait, no, it's Dave Brewster, of course. Dave Goodway and Dave Brewster. I keep forgetting there's two Daves here. But as the times are coming in, it looks like we are at the end of our qualifying session here. Everybody was currently on the laps allowed to keep going, and well, this man would love to just end it here on a high note as well. Benjamin Eck takes provisional pole with a 1:03.658. That is rapid. And now 20-minute races coming up at the Combe circuit. They're going to get rather intense, that's what I do know. There it is, going to cross the line, not going to be improving on that lap. And, well, everybody else has come to a stop as well. So that means we are at the end of qualifying. We are going to be taking a small break, and then we'll be back for race number 1.
calling to say I calling to say I
Hand on the wheel, got my pistons pumping, all 800 horses running. Oh baby, 125 in the middle of the night, got my engine thundering. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow us down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know racing. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Born to ride, Mustang 65, got that V8 engine with a fuel injection. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor, turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow us down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we all know racing. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat, you make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights.
It looks like the grid is finally taking place here. We are currently waiting for everybody to leave the pit and get onto the grid here before we are going to get going for race number 1 here. A 20-minute race around a, well, rather short circuit. Gonna get interesting, especially when we head over to the streets of Italy next time round. This could become pretty massive, of course. So yeah, it's gonna get interesting. And it appears that we are underway. The first race of today has now officially started, and it looks like Benjamin Eck is off to a great start, and he wants to maintain that lead coming into turn 1. Other than that, everybody seems to be handling things quite well. No major incidents. Appears that everybody's made it through rather nicely. Sure, some drivers have lost a little bit of time, but other than that, it's been really clean, which is always something we are obviously striving for. It appears that everybody has made it through the first couple corners nicely here. No incidents coming in as of yet. There's Benjamin Eck to lead, and then it's Rogaro, then Roman and Karograf. So nothing's really changed in terms of the order here. Some of the drivers going rather wide there. You want to be trying to make up as much space as possible in the beginning, but obviously you have to be careful as well. There's one driver going off. That's Nate Himmelsbach, I believe. Yes, that is indeed the case. Alan Palmer also finds himself way behind now. Well, Nate's going to have to turn around. Is now facing the right direction again, but has lost a lot of time as well. Tom Bernil gaining up a couple spaces as well. The yellow flag is out in Sector 2 after the incident. And it appears that some more drivers have come off then. It was hard to say what it actually was, of course, but it appears that we are at least going again here. Tom Bernil in his Vauxhall is holding on quite well to the group there. At first I thought that was one of the Corollas, but that's not the case. But the lineup is looking quite good here. Everybody makes it through nicely, and looks like we're able to at least race cleanly the first couple laps here. Torch show here, looking for an opportunity, but going down the inside would prove tricky here. Will Brunner has to leave him a little bit of space, which he will do, but still the BMW to get out ahead anyways. Or is it? Because all of a sudden there's the move, he makes a mistake, and two drivers get past. Will Brunner, fortunately, loses a lot of time. And actually, I said BMW, that is an Infinity, a car that is actually not on the grid right now, but it's good to see some more variety onto the grid there as well. Love seeing those. Actually, I'm not... Oh, that was Moffat's old car before he moved on to what I believe was the Cupra. No, Moffat was in... No, he was in the Ford Focus, I believe, right? Could be mistaken, though. It's been a while since I've actually actively watched the BTCC. I'd love to do it more, but it is a little bit difficult for me to catch them sometimes, I'm afraid. This is a shame, because I love watching them. Yeah, obviously they have done 4 rounds now, and they're headed to Alton Park next. Whereas we will be going over to Italy, because next up is a race on the street of Italy, which is going to be at Milano Castello. A street circuit for the first time around there. Now we've got Knutstorp coming up. Ring Knutstorp, a Swedish track as well, before we end it at a fan favorite. That one is Hockenheim. Hockenheim Ring, obviously a circuit I've been to IRL, probably one of my favorites. Just absolutely lovely. Benjamin Eck still leads the race after the first couple laps here, but it's a hard fight all the way over into the first couple turns here. Now, everybody that's doing quite well right now is in the BMW. Don't know how it is the case, but it appears they might just have the edge over the other cars here. The BMWs are just absolutely storming through the grid here. Benjamin Eck in a comfortable lead right now. Can just focus on those lap times. Doesn't really need to worry about anything else. And plenty to play for still. We've seen our first DNF as well. Williams has been DNF'd. Same for Himmelsbach, was also decided to come in. Antonio Notta's in the pit lane. Has not given up yet, but we do see him fall back a little bit more here. Raffaetta then versus Giuseppe Torcio. Torcio trying to hold on wherever possible. Just looking to get that pace in as soon as possible. But honestly, now that the BMWs are just in such a comfortable position, they can just keep making their way over. I mean, the current top 4 is just only BMWs, and then we see one of the Hondas finally. Now, there's a couple brands, of course, on track. The Hondas are popular. We've got the BMWs, the Infinity, Hyundai as well. Ford has a Ford Focus. The Vauxhall is out there as well. So obviously that variety just makes the grid feel a little bit more lively and such, especially now that the cars are using a what we call a semi-fixed setup. And what I mean by that is that some of these setups are locked in. So we've got the steering lock, the brake pressure, starting fuel, fuel strategy, tire compounds, and the brake bias. But for the rest, they are completely free to choose whatever we want to do, which, well, could add a little bit of extra differences between the cars as well. Aboard with Alan Palmer, and Alan Palmer is doing a massive job right now. Try and catch up, but obviously he's got plenty of space to gain here. He's running one of the official FRL liveries here as well. At least I think so. It's number 44. Alan Palmer trying to catch up whenever possible, but at the moment it's rather difficult. And this group is now finally getting a connection as well. It's Alex Petit, and then it's Antonio Dolcimascola, followed by Dave Goodway. We're now all finding that connection over to the BMWs here. So it looks like the BMWs have slowed down a little bit, but that doesn't apply to Benjamin Eck, who is now 1.5 seconds ahead already, as Pecoraro finds himself on a penalty now that he's going to have to serve at some point. And well, in a sprint race, that is going to be a massive effect, I'm afraid. That's a shame, really. I guess that's just how it is sometimes. Dave Goodway looking to stay with Antonio Dolcimascola, but it's hard to see when there will be a move. It's pretty difficult to time him, of course, as we see that Brian Gillis is also coming into the pits now. Sometimes that's what's happened, of course, right? Sometimes you will just have these races where things are just not going your way, and then it's actually really difficult to do something with it. Now Masafra is still chasing Dario Raffetta. You want to try and get close. However, will they be able to do so? At the moment, it looks like Rico is looking to catch up in the Vauxhall Astra a little bit here, but lap times are staying the same at the moment, so we're not really getting him to see any closer. Dave Goodway, however, is still over the back of Antonio Cimascolo, but just also not finding that connection for now. Maybe there will be an opportunity later on, but at the moment he is just not close enough. Which, well, I guess it is what it is somehow. Dave Goodway is so close by now, using the slipstream to his advantage. Just isn't quite there yet. He's got plenty of things to do. Just whatever he can get, it would be nice. And Antonio goes really wide, so maybe that is the sign for Dave Goodway to try and get alongside, and he will. Up the inside here, he should be able to complete that move, and indeed he is. Very nicely done there. Completes that move, and therefore also gains another position. And well, this is now getting real intense. Alex Petit's also now involved in that battle. Dave Goodway has come past them both. And now Antonio will unfortunately be going off here. It's gone way too wide. I think it might have been touched there a little bit. Hits the wall to make things even worse. And well, that's going to be the race over for him, or at least the battle over for now. Going very much straight there. I don't think the car is handling the way that he wants it to. And well, I guess that's just how it is sometimes. Will Brunner still loyally running the Infinity round, but at the moment it doesn't really seem to be the fastest car. Which I guess makes sense, right? You'd love to get any closer. At the moment it's not really happening though. The Cupra of Giuseppe Torcio is just trying to get a little bit closer whenever possible. But when will that opportunity arise? Time will tell. Obviously, in the real British Touring Car Championship, they have got the new hybrid system implemented here, which basically acts like ERS in a way that you find yourself having a limited amount of hybrid that you are able to use whenever you feel like it. You get a little bit of extra boost to get up there onto speed and potentially go for an overtake, but eventually you will run out. You have a maximum per lap, and you also have a maximum per race, so you really have to be careful. What do you want to do? It's honestly quite tactical. People might not realize that, but that is just how it is sometimes. And those new innovations make for some good racing, I can tell you that much here. Will Brunner then was side by side for a moment there. Giuseppe Torchio's gone straight over the turns. And well, Will Brunner does make that move now. At least if Giuseppe Torchio's going to let him by. But Giuseppe is just looking to stay in that lead, however. So maybe that's a little bit of cheating there. Couldn't make the corner. Well, that was it. Did have been unfortunate, but I guess that's just how it is sometimes. You have these incidents, and sometimes they go your way, and sometimes they don't here. Romy is now getting closer to Benjamin X, so it looks like he's finally up to pace now. Fastest lap, however, of the race still comes from Dave Goodway, but every single driver in the top 5 is in the 104 mark, and they're also one of the only few drivers that are able to do so. Dario Raffretta is there as well, but he's a little bit further down the field as well, but he has that pace, which he is now showing. But unfortunately for him, he's not in a contention here for a podium. Obviously, we're handing out quite a few of those points, of course, which I guess is only nice. And obviously, every single race will have another opportunity, right? The reverse grid especially will be one to watch. As Tsushima Skolos come in now, and he will also get a DNF to his name here. So we have seen a couple now, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. That's just how it is sometimes, right? Will Brunner getting closer and closer to Giuseppe Torchio. With the Infinity plus the slipstream that is him now. He seems to really be having that pace. Will Brunner can't make the move happen as of yet. Giuseppe Torchio has to defend for his life here. And at the moment he seems to be doing a massive job at that. So we'll check back on him later. See what they are doing. It's Dave Brewster versus Alan Palmer. And the BTCC cars, they feel absolutely amazing as well to drive. I mean, there's just something about driving a, well, basically a standard road car that's just been, you know, modified to perfection to drive it around. There's something about touring cars that, to me, just hits it. And I don't know how to describe that. It's just such a magical feeling. And, well, to me, I think what they're showing here is impressive, because these cars, they don't handle easily. Now, Andrea Romy is getting ever so slightly closer, but it's still Benjamin Eck in the lead there. That hasn't really changed all around here. We've got an interesting battle here going on. Will Brunner trying to get as close as possible. Dave Brewster still behind him as well. It's currently a 4-way battle. Dave Brewster currently in the middle of that. It's currently being led by Torchio. Then it's Brunner, then it's Brewster, then it's Palmer. And all those Brits, well, they're looking to get closer and closer to each other. Dave Brewster now is almost losing that connection to the drivers in front there, whereas Alan Palmer seems to be utilizing that slipstream rather well. Is making up the ground again, but at the moment neither driver is really close enough to make a move, so potentially it will come in time. I guess we'll have to keep our eyes out. But at the moment it doesn't really look like we're going to see a move anytime soon. Who else is driving close on track? It looks like the field is actually rather thinned out, despite the short distance of the track. That's just how it appears to be. Torchio seems to just be struggling to drive away, but Will Brunner having that slipstream. The Infinity seems to have a good straight line speed as well, which obviously doesn't work in his favor, right? Then you've got these two now. Gerardo Pitton in the Ford versus Dario Raffetta in his Honda Civic. At the moment it looks like Raffetta is a little bit too far ahead to try and do anything, which is just a story for basically any driver at this point round. Everybody has that gap for himself. It's not enough to get close for an overtake, but you're also not really worried about anybody coming in from behind. So, yeah. Looks like the group is slowly falling apart with Dave Brewster not being able to get close enough to Will Brunner, so it might just fall apart now. It might turn into 2 groups of 2 here, as there is less than 5 minutes remaining. And with all the drivers here just focusing on their own, I think it's hard as well, right? You want to get overtaking, but at the moment it doesn't really look like you've got that going for you. Benjamin Ack is still leading this battle as well, and well, he knows he's only got 4 minutes where he needs to get around, and well, that's only 4 laps basically on this very short and tight circuit. Not really a circuit I was expecting to see on the grid here. It seems like, well, seems like a little bit of a risk here, as Axel Petit's also got a DNF now to his name. Not what he was hoping for, of course. And now with all the lapping cars coming in, things might turn rather chaotic as well. Look at this then. Looks like they found each other. Andrea Romy and Benjamin Ack for the lead here. There's 3 minutes left to race, and Benjamin Ack now is really going to have to, you know, drive as fast as possible. Two and a half minutes remaining here of the race, and things are still as close as could be. Just making it through those S's is rather difficult, but it seems like they're handling it quite well. We have this small straight going to be using to once again make your way back over to their S's-like corner. And now just getting ready to pull that throttle. Want to get up as fast as possible here. You just want to be driving away, but at the moment it's not really happening, is it? Benjamin Ack is still in the danger zone, and Andrea Romy is not looking to back down at any moment here. It is currently getting pretty close. Benjamin Ack, however, now also approaching those back markers, and that's not something you want in this position, right? You don't want to get people driving in your way, and these people are battling as well. Andrea Romy then perhaps could go for a move rather soon. Look at how close they are. At the moment, however, it doesn't seem to be happening. So close. Now the back markers are definitely getting into the way there, but they are battling for position. Let's hope they don't get to the way of each other. Time will tell. Now they're getting rather close. Andrea Romy wants to go down the inside here, but Benjamin Ack doesn't want to give him an inch here, but they could just go side by side all the way. Now who's going to back out first? And that is Benjamin Ack, unfortunately having to give up there. That is a little bit unfortunate there. Andrea Romy takes over that position all the way towards the end there, now that the time is almost off. Romy takes that lead and now has to defend, but with Dave Brewster potentially getting into the way, this battle is not over yet. Dave Brewster, well, he's getting out of the way. He knows, you know what, this battle is more important there. This is for the lead. But this is just getting rather awkward. Torcho now also finding himself pushing ahead there. The time is up, by the way, so once we cross the line, we'll know what the finish order is. Andrea Romy still leading all the way here, going over the grid, and they have finally made his way past, but it's going to be Andrea Romy here to cross the line first. Torcho is holding up Benjamin Ack a little bit more as well, but that will be the order. Or is it one more lap? No, not. Doesn't appear to be. Oh, man. What a race that was here, but Romy wins it. And then it's going to be Eck, Kraft, Goodway, and now Pagorado crossing the line. Followed here by the Honda Civic there of Dario Rafetta. Brian Gillies is a couple laps down here as well. Now it's waiting for Gerardo Pitton to get around. Tom Brunel is next as well. An impressive 8th position coming in from him. I think you'd be rather satisfied with that, to be honest. He is now going to be crossing the line, making it through the last corner to finish up in P8 there. Rico Masafra still going here as well. Will Brunner is a bit late to the party as well. He's going to be joining in just a second here, but Rico Masafra makes his way past the finish now and has done a good job as well to finish off the race in P9. Will Brunner is in P10, and I believe that might be it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of race 1 here. We are going to get ready for race number 2 in just a moment, so I'm going to put it on the brake scene for a little bit longer. Now we'll be back in just a moment.
I'm just calling to say I
All right, whoops. Turns out they didn't actually put me in yet, but we are getting back here for race number 2 this time round. Everybody's made their way onto the grid here as we are almost ready to go. It's going to be race number 2 here. Once again, it's 20 minutes. Starting off with race number 2 before we get into the reverse grid there. And to me, it's rather exciting as we are gonna get underway. So many drivers are all fair. It's going to be hard to keep track of everything, but it's going to be Andrea Romy here after winning the first race on pole position. Even though he definitely wasn't the one that was in the lead for the majority of the race there. Dave Goodway goes a little bit too wide here, but he's able to keep the car under control. And obviously, once again, does it surprise you that it's Benjamin Eck leading the way here already? He started off so well and just somehow he's done it. Just somehow he's once again turned into the lead. There's some drivers going over the bumps a little bit too much here. A couple of drivers cutting the corners as well. Definitely not what they were hoping to do, but it looks like once again majority of the race is cleaner. We've got a couple drivers leaving now as well. As Alan Palmer, that is a big shunt into the wall. So many drivers involved into that one. Dave Brewster was out there as well. That just looked like a massive shunt that could be life ending even. But Dave Brewster and Alan Palmer not only are at the back now, they've also got plenty of damage. For example, Dave Brewster's lost his spoiler, but he's gone front in, I believe. So we're going to be more damage than that as well. So that was not what they were hoping for coming into the start of race 2. Now, luckily for them, it is reverse grid afterwards. So honestly, things could be worse here. But yeah, not what they were hoping for. I'm going to tell to see if they can keep that up at the front though, as it's going to be Pecoraro in P3 for the time being. Now he is in another BMW here, and the BMW seems to be a popular choice to get around. One of the fastest cars, at least judging by the results of race 1. See, the BTCC also isn't 100% fair, as there is some ways to play around in the regulations, right? And every car weighs the same, has the same amount of power. But I think this is a good way to get around with it here, as Antonio Notta goes rather wide, trying to overtake Brian Gillies here. So he will take that position back with ease. He is able to rejoin the track, but also lost quite a bit of time there. As the battle here for P3 is still going on, with Dario Rafetta being all over Pecoraro here. He'll be looking to go side by side, and there was an opportunity there perhaps, but obviously it could be rather easy for Federico Pecoraro to try and defend that one. Obviously he had the inside line. Coming into, I wanted to say the S's, but there's plenty of S's on this track. There's one that's called the S's. There's another one called Bubbles. And you also have the Avon Rise and Quarry Corner, which actually looks like one as well. Think about it, really. So yeah, it's an interesting layout with the track being not too wide to race on. And then also that with, you know, some very fast corners just kind of tied together. It's almost like they took a square and just added a couple lines into it. Giuseppe Torcio still leading this battle for the time being. It's Antonio Notta to try and get around, and he will make that move onto Nate Himmelsberg, who had a horror first race. Didn't get what he was hoping for before, and at the moment the battle for 8th is one that could go quite the distance here. There's 5 drivers involved in this battle. Torcho's leading it. Now, he's done quite well in the previous race as well. Where some of the other drivers were a little bit less, well, satisfied with how it went. For example, Gillies was one of them, right? He was all the way at the back after suffering a couple incidents before. And this time that seems to be the case again. There's a yellow flag in turn 1. Sorry, in sector 2, I think it said. But not sure what has happened there, as Dario Raffetta is now coming around with a massive speed damage. But unfortunately, he gets pitted around and, well, he finds himself now just fortunately having to rejoin the grid there with quite a bit of chunk of damage. At least that's what it looked like on our POV. It looks like he had a classic pit maneuver there, as utilized by the police sometimes to get a car to forcibly stop. Honestly, to me, it's rather surprising to see that happening. I know the Formula Racing League lads are, generally speaking, quite good at what they do in terms of driving safe here. Battle for first, still the same as always. No changes there, really. Gap currently roughly a second, but you know it went with Hitsu last time round. And once Andrea Romy got the hang of it, or when Benjamin Eck made a small mistake, Andrea was able to capitalize with ease. Who knows if that will be repeating itself later on. Time will tell, of course. And at the moment, it really looks like the BMW of Benjamin Eck is just ever so slightly getting away. But we'll keep our eyes out on the deltas later on. This is Kawograph rather, and as Antonio Nota leaves the door open, the BMW would love to have a look, and at the moment they're not side by side just yet, and the BMW will have to just wait a little bit more to get a move in. But there was an opportunity there, but unfortunately this time around they just couldn't do it. That was a good shout though. Gotta admire the fact that he actually went for that. I must say that I wish there was more that he could have done there, but yeah, that's sometimes how it is, right? And now Antonio is just feeding that pressure around, and time will tell how things are gonna go later on. But at the moment, Kawograph can't make his way around. There's 3 DNFs already, that being Brewster, Palmer, and Nate Himmelsbach. Again, just not getting the results he wants to. That hurts me a little bit here. There definitely is the potential for him to do well, and I see it, I notice it, but once again, this is just getting in the way, which is a real shame, to be honest. Because sometimes it is what it is like that. And, well, sometimes I guess you just have to take your losses, right? But this is going to also be massive for the drivers' standings later on, right? Now, these two are still basically touching each other. I mean, look at how close they are right now. Kawograph wants to make that move happen, but every time he just has to lift off, then, well, leave the space and try again later. That's what it feels like all the time. Raffet has come in now. He was the driver in last, and now he has come in to pit as well, putting him even further at the back there. So it makes me think he's picked up some form of damage, which is obviously not what he was hoping for. But yeah, I guess it is what it is sometimes. Not much you can do. And, well, maybe another opportunity will arise. Benjamin Eck was ahead by over a second, now finds himself a little bit closer, but Andre Romy not able to get within overtaking range just yet. But the time will come, I'm sure of that. Just when does it actually happen? See, last time around, it was actually towards the later part of the race where Andre Romy started gaining. But yeah, at the moment there's only 13 drivers remaining here, and not a lot of drivers that are actually getting into close battles either. I mean, it's these two, Antonio Nota and Kyle Graf. They're just doing their thing, and Benjamin Ack and Andre Romy at the front as well. But other than that, most of the gaps are over 2 seconds. In most cases, actually more than 3. So it's just a little bit awkward. Just staying there and not really able to get a move. And that's just the downside of the track. It's not like he's not having the pace or anything. It's just that there's very little opportunity to go for something here. Unless you're willing to go for a very brave move down the inside. And that's exactly what Kyle Graf is trying to do here. And he does so successfully. Antonio Nota will lose out on that position eventually. It took a little while, but patience pays off for Kyle Graf. And he is now ahead of Antonio Nota, at least temporarily. As Antonio Nota will be looking to fight back as well. We are more than halfway through the race already. It's just going so quick as well. But that's the upside of these shorter sprint formats, right? Sometimes there's not a lot of action going on in these longer races. Well, in case of a boring race, we're back close to each other within 10 minutes, which is just awesome as well, right? You just have way more opportunity to actually try and fight. Now, these two, they have been battling for quite a while here. Now it is the BMW ahead, even though Antonio Nota was leading for basically the entire race. And now it's just proving that you've got the pace to try and drive away here. Antonio Nota would love to stay with him here, but at the moment it looks like he's struggling to do so. And that makes me think that Kyle Graf obviously does deserve this spot as well, right? If you could just prove that he could drive away. Now if you get that gap going to, let's say, 1.2, 1.3 seconds, and I think it's safe to say that he is the faster driver here. Antonio Nota, well, you can try and copy his lines. And other than that, well, I guess for him it's just a matter of waiting for an opportunity to come. Andre Romy and Benjamin Ack are currently also getting rather close here. It appears that in the midfield, Torcho, Brunel and Will Brunner are all finding each other. Now the gaps aren't close enough yet to consider it a battle, but they are working towards it here. Especially Tom Brunel, who's coming closer at a massive pace. What has happened to Torcho then? Why is he so much slower on what appears to be straight? Well, I'm not sure. But Torcho is now going to have to fight for this position. And Tom Brunel, well, he has had a overall really well executed weekend. I mean, his first race was a stable midfield, and now he's looking to do that again. He was actually more than ahead of the, middle drivers. And now, obviously, with less drivers, I think there is some room for improvement still, but this is still a good position to score yourself some points, right? And, well, I'm actually not sure what the call is going to be here for Tom Brunel. Are you going to go full attack mode, or are you satisfied with P11? Well, I'm not sure, but Torcho makes another mistake, and now in the exit, Tom Brunel has got so much more pace, but getting by will prove tricky. Tom is looking towards the inside, around the outside. He's looked everywhere, but at the moment there doesn't really seem to be that space. Will Brunner's now also getting closer and getting involved in that battle rather soon. So these three go a long way. Tom Brunel's pushing it to the absolute limit. He wants to get by whenever he has an opportunity. He's got 7 minutes to make that happen here. The current fastest lap is actually set by Federico Figueroa, who really isn't close to anybody else. So that's surprising to me as well. Now Kyle Graf makes his way past Gerard Pit on. He's made a mistake as well. That's a shame, and the BMW is just immediately loose. And these three are still going to go all the way here. The Infinity of Will Brunner is getting closer and closer now. Obviously, it feels like Tom Brunel is ever so slightly getting held up by the Cupra of Giuseppe Torcio. Whereas that might not be what it looks like for the entire race. It's from what I've seen, that it's just how it is. And, well, obviously more opportunities will come later on. It's just a matter of finding a right moment to do so. As what is that in the background? We just see Will Brunner come off. It's both of the barriers that it appears, and has lost a spoiler now as well. Turning his car into a true sedan. That race is over for him, at least. That battle is over for him. That's how I should say it. Now you saw it already in the background. The top two once again is approaching rather quickly. still just on another level compared to all the other drivers. I don't know how they're doing this, but massive respect to them. Because what they're pulling off here is by no means easy, let me tell you that much. Driver Romy looking to get closer. Once again, the drivers come off there in the background. Who is that then? It was a blue car. Was it the same car again? Or was it Gillies perhaps? No, it wasn't Gillies. The car was more blue, so it might have been the Infinity again. It's hard to see from such a distance. And unfortunately, with rFactor 2's broadcasting program, we don't have the options like we do in Assetto Corsa Competizione. Which is a real shame. I would have loved to just be able to swap over immediately to see what happens. But no, that's not the case. Unfortunately, we can't make that happen here. 5 minutes remaining of the race, and Benjamin has set the fastest lap of the race a couple laps ago. However, Romy is getting closer, and Torcho, you don't want to be holding up those drivers if you don't have to. Look at how close they are now. They're willing to create that gap, but oof, that was rather close. And now Romy is side by side, but on the outside still. Torcho is just also acting like a driving roadblock at the moment here, and Romy, well, he's frustrated, right? He knows he's got that place. Just when do you try and get by? Well, as long as Torcho's in that mix, there's not much you can do. Benjamin will gain the position back thanks to a little help from the back markers here. And Torcho, well, he's just struggling to let them go and finally made their way through. But Benjamin is now the driver in the lead again. That was absolutely not what they were aiming for. Nota and Piton still doing their thing. And Antonio Nota is looking to get ever so slightly closer. Just a matter of getting a move in. Where do you do so? Oh, it is quite difficult to do so. But I think an opportunity will come. We're just going to be waiting until that happens. Benjamin and Andrea roaming, they're still fighting. And it's currently still is the BMW of Benjamin Eck who's leading over the BMW of Andrea Romy. Just wanted to show what that looks like on the inside of the car. And let's see if he's able to keep up a little bit. Benjamin Eck is feeling that pressure, right? Romy is just breathing down his neck right now, knowing that an opportunity might come in just a moment. And well, where do you come and do it? Andrea Romy then perhaps around the outside? Well, there doesn't really seem to be a lot of space. As then a little bit further back, we have Kyle Graf versus Axel Petit as well. Petit had a DNF, a little bit unfortunate in the first race. Now in Sector 1, I wonder who was involved in that. I haven't really spotted anything out of the ordinary here. Nobody's really building up active gaps. That makes me think that they've had an accident or so, but could be something minor as well, right? Could just be a minor loss of control or going rather wide as Kyle Graf's going to try going around the outside here of the Honda Civic, but he won't be able to do so. There simply is no space around there. A good opportunity came, but wasn't able to take it, unfortunately. I guess that's just how it is sometimes, right? Kyle Graf then looking to get close by and perhaps down the inside here, and Axel Petit's going to have to just let it slide as we also see a change for the lead here, but it is not over yet. Andrea Romy versus Benjamin Eck again. Is it going to be a repetition here of last time round, or is Benjamin Eck taking it this time round with a minute left to go? Benjamin Ack is leading at the moment, but Andrea Romy is really pushing him to the absolute limit here. At the moment, not there quite yet. Benjamin Eck just has that comfortable lead right now, and coming into the final lap, I think this is going to be an absolutely spectacular battle here, but who's going to come out on top? Time will tell. Benjamin Eck still leading for the time being. Ever so close with your driver coming off in the background as well. Tom Brunel had a little bit of a moment, but he's able to recover nicely. It wasn't too bad after all. And the time obviously is up, so it's all going to come down to wins in the end. Will Bronner's leaving plenty of space. He wants nothing to do with it. Andrea Romy blocks up a little bit there, but at the moment Benjamin Eck is still leading. Benjamin Eck just going to be crossing that line first, I think, this time round. Yes, there it is. Or is it? Well, they've still got a little bit of time to go. Romy's going to try and go side by side, but there it is. Benjamin Eck takes it. Oh, man, that was close. But this time around, we do have a winner, and that one is Benjamin Eck. So he strikes back now. Will also be starting at the back later on. So I think, honestly, you'll take it. All right, Dave Goodway. Pushing it to the absolute limit, comes home in P3 with some drivers right behind there. It's Federico, Perraro, and Torcio, who was actually a little bit further back. It's Carl Graf to come in P5, and Axel Petit just crawling over that finish line now. Not that left afterwards. Now we've got Brian Gillies coming in as well. Good result by him. Pitton in P9, and then it's Tom Brunel who's slowed down already. It appears he might have stopped in an earlier lap, I think. And that should be everyone in then. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get ready for race number 2 in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Calling to say I calling to say I
Oops, I once again forgot that it automatically zooms me out. I have to get used to that. Apologies. We are getting ready for the last race of today. The reversed grid race, where we're going to see some of the fastest drivers go all the way back here. This is where, not having the greatest of times earlier on, well, I mean, obviously, for now, it's just slower drivers at the front, right? And this is where bad results are actually going to help you to do well in the third race. And whether that was true, a little lack of pace, perhaps, or just a little bit of unfortunate incidents, it doesn't really matter in the end. As now you've got the golden opportunity to try and get around here. We are underway for the last time for 20 minutes here at Combe Circuit. Almost all drivers drove well. Immediately Himmelsbach gets himself a penalty. Loses a spot as well. That is nothing major for now, as Jardo Pitton is leading into turn number 4 here. Everybody else makes it through nicely. I don't think there's been any big touches here, and everybody's still going. And obviously the grid has become a little bit less in volume. Now finally we see some cars going over curbs rather aggressively, but no big incidents, or have there been? There is a warning here. And yes, indeed, Nate Himmelsbach, together with, I believe it was Carico, Safra now are all the way back here. Now Alan Palmer didn't get involved in that, and he was actually lucky to avoid it. He is still going with the rest of the group here. As promised, it's absolute chaos. Now there's been another incident as Nate Himmelsbach has once again taken a DNF, and this time it's Tom Brunel and Will Brunner getting involved into an incident of their own. And you can already see that field is really splitting apart rather quickly here. Most drivers here finishing up their first lap. And, well, this time will tell. Benjamin Eck already through to P8. He'll take it, right? Just unfortunate that Andrea Romy is all the way ahead of you still. So I do know one thing. This is going to be real difficult to score more points over the weekend than what could be your biggest rival now. I mean, Andrea Romy's had a stellar 2 races in the beginning, and now is looking to do even better. So honestly, for me, I think this is great. This is definitely what they were hoping for. Shepard show coming in just now as well. There's another yellow in sector 3. What has happened this time around? It's hard to spot there. I couldn't find anything. But it is also getting a little bit more towards that evening. You know, sun going down and the weather changing up a little bit here as well. The weather obviously that we take is from the real weather that we have thanks to a website called tomorrow.io. Tomorrow.io is a pretty simple website which you can go on, and it's a weather API that will tell you what weather it is. It's taking everything into count, and that is going to be Alan Palmer facing the wrong way. Finding himself on the wrong way is never a good sign. More yellow warnings in sector 2 here, but it's hard to see what's actually happened there. Here's almost everybody still going, so I can't really figure it out. And Andrea Romy's just pushing towards the front here. Nicely done by him, but there are some pretty fast drivers here. He's going to have to get by, and these are drivers that we saw in those good positions earlier on the race as well. Maybe not at the front, like not turn 1 or you know, P1 or P2, but definitely drivers that were getting some impact in. And now obviously they've got that opportunity to try and get by, but Dave Goodway and Kyle Graf holding each other up a little bit is also going to be beneficial for Andrea Romy here, who is just pushing out, has done the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:05.4, but it's actually Benjamin Ectus at the fastest sector 1 in now. Just looking to push and looking to get as well off as possible here, but it's not going to be easy. Rafetta and Benjamin Eck looking to just push and push as fast as possible to try and get onto the drivers here that are now just slowly escaping from them. Rafetta and Benjamin Eck both sending purple sectors in. They are looking to do well, and they are looking to maybe also work together a little bit. Obviously, they can use that slipstream with full potential here. So when do you find that gap? Do you send it on to the driver in front of you, or just hope that you can both drive up? It's not easy, honestly. Ryan Glees trying to get out there in the BMW that he is driving. Will Brunner is his next target. He seems to be catching rather well. Will Brunner just looking to get out there. The drivers in front are all doing fairly similar lap times. So I guess that's just the biggest story of everything anyways. All the drivers now are showing to be really consistent here as Andrea Romy makes his way past Karel Graaf here. Maybe not even worth fighting for. You could argue that it's not going to be worth it defending for 14 minutes. It is still Pitton leading the race here, and Dave Goodway is also quite close by. And as Pitton leaves that door open, it's going to be Dave Goodway to make up a spot here and move through. Nicely done. A great result that is for Dave Goodway, but Gerard Pitton's going to be killing... sorry, he's not going to be killing. He's going to be... you know, kicking himself a little bit there. He wanted to try and hold to that P1 spot until the end of the race, but unfortunately he's just not able to do so. That's just how it is sometimes. Karel Graaf there, a little bit icy on the throttle, but nothing to worry about just yet here. Obviously these cars will do that rather often, so don't worry about it if you don't need to. Things are looking quite alright, I gotta say. Will Brunner is also still involved in that bit here. Maybe doesn't have the opportunity just yet there, but Quirico is also feeding those drivers coming in from behind. And the thing is that everybody at the moment is doing rather quick laps. Everybody's been improving on the laps over the course of those races, which makes sense. But now that this race is going down to the 12-minute mark soon, there still are a couple drivers that would love to gain up a couple more positions than have actually had the opportunity to. And I feel like these are the drivers that we're watching right now as well, right? Dave Brewster was involved in a big battle, also was involved in a big crash, and that's what really cost him now. Same goes for Tom Brunel, right? If he didn't go into the wall, things would be looking rather different. Now that is obviously just part of the game, and I guess sometimes there's not really much you can do to avoid it, but it is a shame because I do think that these drivers all will have an opportunity to, you know, become even faster than they currently are, but some of the drivers are just being held up at the moment. This is a fun freeway battle we are watching. It is currently still Axel Petit leading, then it is Benjamin Eck, and also Dario Rafetta to get around. And well, Dario is losing a little bit of time here as there appears to be a small contact here between the BMW and the Honda Civic, and well, that has allowed Dario Rafetta to just somehow open up that attack again. Petit is just going off corner after corner now. He's not having a good time. Somehow stays ahead of the Honda Civic of Rafetta though, but Benjamin Eck does make his way past here. And he'll be very glad that he did. That was exactly what he was aiming for. And well, I guess it's safe to say that sometimes life's a bit unfair. And sometimes you just have to kind of deal with the consequences. Dario Rafetta looking to get closer by, and Axel Petit's now fell back all the way. A shame, really. There was more potential into that, but small mistakes ended up costing him. And I don't even think that the incident was that major, right? The contact looked quite minimal. But this is a great battle we're watching here. This is P10 all the way up to P15 all the way. There is 6 drivers involved in that battle. Benjamin Eck gains a position onto Pitton as well, as Pitton's come into the pit area now to serve a pit stop. Guess he must have some damage. That is a little bit of a shame. And now a absolute chaotic moment with so many drivers going off and Dave Brewster finding himself facing the wrong way. Not what he was hoping for, but now that battle's been split apart again. Oh man, what a mess. Seeing where the battles are taking place, but it's mainly these drivers that we're watching. Torcho leading, a little bit Brunner, then it's Brunel, Glees and Massafra. Quite a few different manufacturers into that battle as well, but Massafra's struggling to keep up at the moment here. Tom Brunel is opening up that attack, and Will Brunner would love to have an opportunity to try and fend off Tom Brunel for long term, but that's not going to happen, is it? Torcho's just trying to drive away. He wants nothing to do with this. And if he doesn't need to be involved in that battle, he doesn't want to be involved in that battle. The further that he can go away, the better it would be. Now just also a little bit more further up the field. Pitton and Himmelsbach have both taken that TNF now. It's a shame, really. Pitton had some potential into that. I mean, he was in prime position to try and do well here. Now, well, that looked a little bit tight, but it will be Brunel still just chasing. There was an opportunity to try and get by Brunner, but it's not going to happen now. And Torcho still just even that battle. It looks like the number 13 driver at the moment, so that is Quicker Massafra, is just ever so slightly catching on now. But with 7 minutes remaining, he's still got it all to do. This battle could go all the way here, just to show you what it looks like from Ryan Gillies' POV. Well, he is now slowly but surely losing track, so maybe a better example would be someone like Tom Brunel in his Vauxhall. Seeing as multiple drivers are trying to get by here. This is all getting so close. Well, Brunner's done it, and now Tom Brunel wants to go down the inside as well. It appears that Torcho's made a mistake and is now slower. Tom Brunel still has to fight for it hard, though. Do you know one thing? Will Brunner's pass, and Tom Brunel, the Belgian, makes that move. Does so successfully. It's Will Brunner to now lead that group, and Torcho is still in trouble because Brian Gillies is still getting around as well. This battle is far from being over. And honestly, I don't know what the plan here is completely. But Torcho seems to be struggling as Will Brunner's gone off, and he's gone very wide, and that's now cost him all the positions. He's now out of the battle as Torcho gets spun around. Gillies is able to avoid them by just cutting through the grass, and that was not what he was aiming for. But now that battle is just completely falling apart. But immediately another opportunity opens here. Benjamin Eck versus Dario Rafetta. A little bit more further up the field, we've got Dave Goodway versus Andrea Romy. This is for first and second position as well here. This is going to be a battle to watch here. Dave Goodway is holding on there. This is his first good opportunity to try and get around. I think more will come. Just waiting it out for now. We're just ever so close here. Dave Goodway's putting up a good fight right now, and he seems to have that pace as well to be able to do so. And Romy, well, he's proven already that he does know how to win races and would love to get a second one coming in. Because P1 and P2 is, to me, a pretty good result. And there he goes, then immediately dives down, and well, Dave Goodway's got no other choice but to let go or go all the way around the outside, which is exactly what he's doing right now. But it's gonna be Goodway losing out eventually. Therefore, Andrea Romy now our new race leader, and Dave Goodway, well, he's gonna try and hold on. But that is not gonna be easy. I can tell you that much. Whatever the plan may be, he has got plenty to prove there. How do you get closer? To be honest, I don't know. At the moment, it looks like most battles are kind of just dying out there as well. The drivers that were really close no longer really are. And that, I guess, also makes sense right after a couple minutes coming in there. And, well, you can see that all the backmarkers are not getting into the way of these battles as well. This is not easy for them. Dave Goodway seems to, unfortunately, be the one coming out worst here. He's lost quite a bit of time. And now Kyle Graf is getting ever so slightly close. Now he's all over the back of the Ford Focus here of Dave Goodway. Honestly, I could see them go for a move eventually. Time's gonna tell if that actually is the case. But for me, I would definitely like to see that. There he goes. Then perhaps Dave Goodway leaves a little bit of space, but even then he's just able to cut right in front. Nicely done. Well deserved as well. There, another big shunt into the wall then. Who was that? Was it Benjamin Eck? No, it wasn't, but who was it? It's hard to see who it is. Yeah, I still can't see it, mate. It's actually really hard to read who it was, but it was in Sector 2. Those incidents will happen, and Romy is just completely loose at the moment. Nobody's able to stop him. Now with 2 DNFs, we're going to see 15 drivers to come across the finish in just a little bit more than 2 minutes here. Kyle Graf still getting around as well. Kyle Graf, if there's ever a place to do it, it would be now. Just getting all across now. Kyle Graf is in P2 for the time being, as Dave Goodway, well, he's struggling to keep on, but still could have a chance at the podium here. Looks like we're going to be stuck with them for a little bit more. As to me it appears that the drivers that are currently coming in are just so close to each other, right? Dave Goodway is just waiting for another opportunity, but yeah. Don't know if they'll be able to do so. Well, Kyle Graf is just going all the way into the distance now. Nobody's going to be able to stop him. Here is a move as well from Brian Glees. Makes his way around Federico Pecoraro. With just seconds to spare on the clock. This is a beautiful move coming out. Makes his way up to P9 where he'd love to stay. And Federico, well, have an opportunity to come closer. And a little bit further back, we have Mustafa versus Alan Palmer as well. These two are going to go quite the distance here. I mean, the race time is almost over. There is only mere seconds to spare, and then it's all going to come down to who crosses the finish first. And, well, now that the time officially is up, it's all going to be waiting for Romy to come in as well, right? He's going to be the one that decides that. As Kuriko Musafra and Alan Palmer will just try and push as hard as they can here on that final lap here. They would love to get out there and try and make something happen here. The current race leader is going to do it with ease. However, it's Andrea Romy who's just getting out there and nobody's able to stop him. A beautiful race it is from Romy. Romy has got a beautiful result. And Federica Bogararo, well, this is an alternative line to take. Comes into the pit, it appears. Don't know whether that was intentional or not here, but current race leader still moving on. Is going to cross the line in first position. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrea Romy once again does it. Into P1, well-deserved. Kyle Graf to follow next as well. Other drivers now finishing in behind as well. So will Dave Goodway in P3. Benjamin Eck coming up next, followed by Dario Raffetti here crossing the line. Nicely done by him as well. Petit is next in P6. And Antonio Nota will be following soon as well. To cross the line there, nicely done by Nota to stay in P6 for at least the remainder of the race. Nota is now making his way across the line as well here. Nicely done by him to finish P7. And now we've still got a battle going on here. Tom Brunel versus Brian Gillies all the way to the finish now. The advantage is with Brian Gillies as he obviously is in that leading spot right now between the two. And Tom Brunel is seemingly too far away here. It would be a massive dive and he can't make that happen, of course. So Brian Gillies to take P8 there and Tom Brunel to finish the race in P9 as well. And then everybody's come in. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will be back on this stream, I promise you that. But until then, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure doing these streams. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys into the next one. Next week, we'll be flying into Italy to find out who can be very quick over on the Italian streets. It's going to get interesting because obviously street tracks are very different to race on than actual tracks. Plus, of course, it's less known in terms of the layouts. It's going to get very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ricky DC from RDC Broadcast. It's been an absolute pleasure streaming for you, and I will see you guys later.